Hello and welcome to The Good, The Bad and The Worst, a podcast where we normally watch movie trilogies. Tonight, we're reviewing 2025. That's right, we're going to talk about our favourite movies that we watched in the past 12 months. Most of them came out somewhere in the last 12 months. I think some of mine are a little bit older than that. I don't quite get to the movies the day they're released, unfortunately, all the time. But I'm your host, Griner, and joining me are Luke and Conan. Boys, 2025, was it a top year? Bad year? Do you have any strong thoughts about 2025 as a year? It can be movies or in general.
As a year, in regards to movies, I thought it was a pretty good year for movies.
Yeah.
Like when I go back through my Letterboxd, I feel like this is the year I became active on Letterboxd, you know? So and I'm glad I did, to be able to go back and see what I actually watched this year. I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. And I felt like I consumed a lot of content this year, either through movies or TV.
You watched hella movies this year, Luke, I must say.
I watched a lot of movies. I couldn't pick only 3 stuff. I came in like, I got like 10 things to talk about. But yeah, I thought it was a good year for movies and TV shows.
Conan?
I don't know. This year feels like a blur. Looking at my Letterboxd, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it was a good year. It seems like it's been a good year, but I think I've been consuming more content peripheral to the topic of movies rather than watching movies themselves. There's been a lot of podcasts I listen to about like, here's the 10 best things coming out of this film festival, and here's all this stuff. And so there's a lot of movies like that I'm sort of conscious of. But I mean, I don't know, this happens every year in Australia, you know, all the big hitters don't come out until the year after.
Yes.
So I've got a long list of movies that are meant to be amazing and they're all the talk of it, and like the Oscar Best Picture front runners are about 8 out of 10 of these movies that people here can't see yet. And so I'm like, yeah, it must be a good year for film, but I don't know because I haven't had the chance to see them all. But overall, I think it's been fine. First half of the year was pretty good. I mean, the whole Sinners into Weapons, or Weapons into Sinners sort of few months was a pretty big, like, bang straight out of the gate. But then I do feel like it lulled a lot. So I feel like it's been a year of ebbs and flows. Real droughts and then some flooding rains. I'm on fire with the analogies, aren't I? That was like 3 different ones in one thing. Bloody hell.
Just mix all your metaphors together. Yeah, definitely some strong movies this year. I started to become active on Letterboxd. I definitely watched more movies than I did last year. I think last year I struggled to even come up with a movie that I watched that we didn't
3 TV shows
that we didn't cover on the podcast. This year I definitely have movies to choose from. It's still not, a vast list, but yeah, I think I absorbed a bit more media. We're also covering TV shows, just to put that out there, because I don't think I announced it at the top.
Also, music records and video games and
I'm going to talk about some video games that honorable mentions.
Our favourite Instagram Reels as well.
That's a good one, yes. TikTok trends, if people are into that.
Exactly. And our favourite cooking videos as well.
Any content
weather
we can
phenomenons.
consume.
Yeah, if there's a certain type of natural disaster that you think's pro.
Cumulonimbus were really strong this year. All right. I'm going to kick it off with my first recommendation because I feel like this one's going to be one that you guys will have on your list.
Oh, sorry, pin it. Are we doing 3 recommendations then?
We'll do 3 recommendations and then we might do 2 recommendations, some disappointments, a final recommendation, and then any runners up or honourable mentions if you want to name any.
Sounds good.
Thanks, boss. Have you done this before, Conan? We do this every year,
We do this every year, and we may slightly change the format every single year.
This is our yearly conversation about Moneyball. That's all I really recall.
All right, so the first movie on my list, because I know it's on your lists too, probably, is Moneyball. No, is one battle after another. I think for me, this was the strongest movie of the year. It's the movie I enjoyed seeing the most, not least because I saw it with you boys while we're away on a boys' weekend. So that made it that little bit more special, but I also think just as a movie, it was one of the 2 5 stars I gave out on Letterboxd. We get a movie full of cooked DiCaprio, which is the best DiCaprio in my opinion. It's such a well-paced movie. It's so frantic, and there's that great use of music to drive it along. We get these really pathetic white supremacists. Just what are they called? The Christmas Club or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Christmas Adventurers. That's it. Just pathetic, and Sean Penn just so pathetic, but still very entertaining to watch. And we get Bro Del Toro as well, he's just the guy we all want to have on our side.
Yeah, I feel like this is the consensus as like best film of the year thus far. Sort of not just from us, but from like every single literary institution and critical entity out there. Yeah, we don't really. It's a shame we didn't get a chance to talk about this properly with a podcast because there is so much to unpack. So I try not to get too bogged down into it, but you're right. It's just kind of like a perfect synthesis in a lot of ways. Like it's a technical achievement in every way. Like Paul Thomas Anderson is firing on all cylinders. Not a footstep is misstepped. They see your music pacing. Like it's 2.5 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. Just incredible shots, incredible things like a car chase in it that are very creative and just like astoundingly like it's really contradictory. It seems like it should be really boring, but it's hypnotic. It's really strange, and then
and like a fresh car chase. How many movies can you say that about in 2025? Like,
that's right. And then, like I say, just an incredible cast of actors, like some newcomers. I can't remember her name. It's like who plays DiCaprio's daughter in it. Chase Infinity. I think this is her first role. Like she's going toe to toe with DiCaprio. And she's doing really well. So all these great actors, just incredible story, incredibly laid, incredibly dense, incredibly subversive. Just I don't think I talked about, but the first time I saw it, I was a little bit like, oh, is this what they were sort of saying? Is this what everyone's saying is the best movie of the century? And then on the second time, it kind of unlocked it. It all sort of fit into pace that my expectations were adjusted. And I think I was just struck by like, even if it doesn't hit you emotionally in a certain way, which it did for me, just like it is, it's kind of like one of those flawless movies. Like every single thing is perfectly executed. There's not a problem with it really. And that's pretty incredible to see a movie that just like is flawless. And if regardless of how you feel, how you connect with it, so there is nothing wrong with this movie, which is pretty insane.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what was kind of like the highlight. And we talked about it after we watched it on our boys' weekend. Like how rare it is to see like two flawless films back to back, like we did that day watching Tron Ares and then this. But two completely different experiences. I'll get into Tron Ares later. But
one of those movies soundtracked our lives for the next month, and it wasn't one battle after another. I will say that.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, like I do want to just clarify before we talk. If we have seen the movie that we're recommending as our thing, are we talking spoilers or are we trying to avoid spoiler discussions?
I think we can have a spoiler discussion if you want to. I don't want to get too bogged down in discussing deeply any single movie because we'll be here all night. But if you want to have something to say, just give a quick spoiler tag and go for it. I think that's fine.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Like, so I won't spoil too much, but just like sort of touching on that car scene, I felt, I don't know, you feel, I felt my stomach moving during that. Like it felt like I had no idea what was going on. It was just anxiety the whole time. And when you sort of touched on it earlier, how many movies do car chase scenes and do so much? And this whole scene, when you look at it on paper of how you would describe the scene, it does so little, but it was way more captivating than so many other car scenes I've seen. Like I was like, what's coming over this hill? What's coming over this hill? Oh my God, like, is this going to be the one? And in my mind, going through all the disastrous scenarios that could happen with this like road disappearing and coming up and all this sort of stuff. This was just like a ride, man. Like 2.5 hours that flew by. I had no idea. I hadn't even seen a trailer for this movie, so I walked in blind. I had no idea what the plot was. I had no idea what the characters were going to be. I had no idea what was going to happen. And just trying to understand it, watching it, and just being captivated the whole way through was so exciting. And I felt like I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan, and I felt like it's been a while since I've seen like, this is my boy Leo. Like this is great. Like I know I had to look it up because I forgot the name, but Killers of the Flower Moon came out a couple of years ago, and obviously watched that. But I feel like overall, in the grand scheme of things, I've forgotten about that movie and his performance. He was a bit simple in that, and like he did well in that. But I feel like this was like the Leo that I used to love watching in cinema, where I was like, oh, this guy deserves an Oscar. Like I really thought he did well in this character. But yeah, everyone was awesome in this. Sean Penn was awesome. I've never been like a big Sean Penn guy ever since he stole the Oscar from Mickey Rourke. But he, killed this
Yes, he
role.
did.
Killed this role.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I don't know, just as messed up as it is, and like that's the thing, there's so much stuff in this that's brutal, like people running through a doorway and boom, getting shot, where I was like, oh god, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, are these characters safe? Whose characters safe? Like I felt like any of the characters were expendable at any minute, sort of thing, and it had that tension to it. And then just funny. I don't know. I felt like we laughed a lot watching this movie.
Yeah.
Like the
It's a
semen
comedy,
thing,
like-
yeah, it was strongly funny.
DiCaprio like
and
trying to
yeah.
remember the codes and like just his
Yep.
brain being totally cooked. It's just so, you're right,
Right.
like very funny.
It is just arguing, and it goes for so long. There's like
Yes.
4 different conversations about this code over like a 40-minute scene
Yeah.
where they've gone through so much shit, and then it comes back to him trying to remember this code and having an argument with this person on the phone. And yeah, Del Toro, who's there for I think a total of like 12 minutes screen time. It's something absurd where it's like he is a presence in this film and he is awesome. Yeah, love this movie. Possibly movie of the year. I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, made better that I watched it with my boys.
Hey, that's us.
All right, Conan, let's kick it off with your first horror movie for the night.
All right. Shut up. You don't know me. All right. Well, like, I'm so predictable. It's Weapons. All right. The movie is
Nice.
Weapons.
It was on my list too. Don't worry.
It's a horror film. It was always going to be there. No, we talked about it like 10 minutes ago. A heavy first few months of the year. Warner Brothers had a really good slate with Sinners, and then into Weapons. Like, this has been a hotly anticipated movie for me ever since Barbarian. So Zach Cregger's directorial debut back in 2022, I want to say. At a quick search, Will Pert, no, 2022. I was right. Go me. Ever since then, pretty much as soon as it came out, that got a really good reception, and then it was announced that he was working on something new. And then, this was one of those stories that I was following of like, what's the rumor about? And then and then he says, oh, I'm working on a horror epic, kind of like Magnolia. And I was like, Magnolia's an incredible film. So, holy shit, this is right down my alley. So I've been tracking this for a while. I was sort of listening to all the casting changes and all the updates and all the problems it was facing, but I had faith. I kept my stock. And he comes out and he just delivers one of the best horror films I've seen in a long time. And I watch a lot of horror movies. Like, this is just a very creative, a very inventive, a very kind of different, but also really familiar horror film. Like, it plays with just a lot of familiar stuff, like creepy kids, and it's a mystery, and it's just a bunch of characters who are trying to solve a creepy mystery. Like, I don't know, I feel like 50% of horror movies are that, characters trying to solve a curse or a problem that's going to kill them. And this kind of follows the same basic track, but as a plot summary, it's one night at 2:17 a.m., 26 of the 27 children or whatever, all but one child from a class, run out their door and disappear. And it's just about the people in the town trying to find out what happened. And this is marketed really heavily as horror. I think it's just amazing because this movie has like 2 jump scares, maybe 3 if you're considering a sort of jump scare in the woods, but it's really more of like just kind of a weird out scene. And that's it. And it really, then it's got a few moments of like, stuff happens that's scary, but it really only relies on 2 heavy, proper jump scares that make you jump in your seat. The rest of it is mood and tension and unnerving images. Like, there's a scene where someone walks out of a house and it's just this slow build of them walking out of the house. And I remember watching this, I was kind of laughing at first, and that's what Zach Cregger does. He's like a comedian or a comedic actor by trade. And you sort of, it rides that line of there's so much going on in this movie that you want to laugh at, with sort of the silliness or the kind of to say how pitiful it is. But then you also really, there's a horror under the surface, and that captures the whole subtext of the horror below the perfect suburban facade that it presents, and all this stuff. Like, it's a movie with a lot of ideas, a lot going on for it, but also just ingeniously crafted, a really great narrative that takes it's told through 4 or 5 different perspectives, and that has that incredibly rewarding thing where each time you watch one, you learn more, and so each time you watch the movie as well, you feel like you're picking up on little hints and tricks, and you go, I didn't notice that before. That works with this. Oh, that character is different in this person's perspective. That's really fascinating what that says about them,
Yep.
And then like concludes really well. Great payoff. One of the best final sort of 10 minutes I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, just like an incredible movie. And the other note I want to make is it doesn't fall down the trap that so many horror epics try to do now, where it doesn't try to explain it all off as trauma. It doesn't try to do the elevated horror thing of going, oh, this is because some characters have trauma and they've overcome trauma and that's how they beat horror.
No.
That's really exciting in 2025 to have a horror movie that doesn't feel the need to kind of justify its horrific entity or its the source of evil in it. Like it explains some things or sort of gives context. But to have a horror movie that's not
supernaturally kind of witchy shit.
Some weird shit going on. And just to be like, hey, this is it. There's like, you can sort of see how it's working and you can deduce why, or you can make your own decisions why.
Yeah.
But I don't need to explain that it's because the kids were all abused or something. It's like, that's good.
I really like Krieger's films in that, like, they at the end of the day, they're kind of just monster movies, right? Like there is a monster in the basement, there is a monster in that house controlling these kids. Like it just, I don't know, it does feel kind of refreshing in 2025, and it's still they're still really smart and fun horror movies without, you're right, having that trope of it being trauma or some grand allegory for some other thing that's going on in the town. There's just a monster here and they have to beat them in the end. Like, and like obviously they explore other themes along the way, but it doesn't try to be more than this. There's a monster to get rid of, like we have to defeat.
Right.
And a great monster. Yeah, the marketing for this was awesome. Like the first, just these clips of these kids on, nanny cams and like Ring footage running, like in that, doing that run just creeped me out. And I was like captivated where I was like, I want to know more about this movie. And yeah, it just paid off. Like I was so excited to go see this and I loved it. I think the cast are all really good. Josh Brolin's what the fuck just cracked me up so much. It's so well done. And I feel like it's everybody's reaction at the same time sort of thing. Julie, is it Julie? Yeah, Julia Gardner. She's awesome. She's been like great. She was great in Ozark and she's really good in this. It's good to see her in like a leading role. Like again, similar to what I talked about earlier, like I tried to avoid all the trailers other than that early sort of teaser footage. So just being along for the ride and just being like, I have no idea what this means or what's happening. And trying to unravel that mystery is a lot of fun. And then a lot of the payoffs and stuff like Alden Reich? Han Solo from the Solo movie.
That's it.
He's really good. His whole adventure with the junkie is a lot of fun as well. Like there's so many scenes in that, and just I love a movie that will do the title cards where it's like now it's this person's perspective. I'm like, oh cool, here we go, and just seeing the things happen in the background of people's stories and stuff like that. The Naruto run is really effective. There's a scary thing.
Just the whole concept of like the kids disappearing, just really really good.
So funny as well, like that run, he said, like people asked him, like, what does this mean? And Craig was like, I thought it looked cool. Just like listening to interviews with him is a lot of fun. He's just so blasé about some stuff. It's like the same with that scene of the gun appearing in the
AR-15 in the sky,
And every interview was like, what does that mean? That's got to be like your thesis for this movie. He's just like, I just thought it'd be cool to troll people. I was like, it's a cool image. And it's like that's so interesting as to look at it, like for a filmmaker to say that, a writer director just be like, these ideas seemed interesting and I put them in without sort of trying to justify why they have to be in there, and they work. Like that run looks cool. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like a special symbol that's giving them powers from like Celtic runes or some bullshit. It just looks creepy. That's enough to make you then want to try to read into it. The gun in the sky, there is lots of readings. There's a pretty on the nose one that you could apply to it. And it's like, he was probably aware that there was something to that of like, yeah, that's an easy way to read this, but it doesn't have to be. And that's just sort of so clever of like, that's kind of like how good movie making and good text should be. Like you have ideas there that can be interpreted. You don't have to spell it out and be like, oh, the gun's a metaphor for shootings. Okay, I'm glad they've made this 100% clear so there's no confusion for us. It's like, no, art needs to be interpreted. And this probably more than any movie this year I saw was a great case study for that, of why movies should not answer every question. They It's their job to ask questions more than anything and
Yeah.
make you sort of engage with that.
Yeah. Conan, just before we move on, I sort of want to ask, as someone who I feel like was, a lone defender and advocate for Barbarian, when it came out, you were advocating for us to watch it. Does this surpass Barbarian for you? Which film do you think is a better film?
I think this is a better movie.
Yeah. Okay.
This is grander. I think this has kind of, I don't know, this feels sort of bigger and more important, I guess. And I don't know if that's a bit of a wanky way around it, but it's just it's bigger in every way. It's got more characters. It's got more ideas on its mind. I think it's, he's improved his craft a little bit.
Has
Not
more
as
backing behind him.
Yeah. It's not as scary. Like, it's not as true horror as Barbarian is. Like, Barbarian is more of a, like Grant said, like a monster film. And that I watched that again this year because they did a cinematic re-release for Halloween. So me and a friend saw it on Halloween. And I was like, shit, this is a good film. But it's just like pure fear. It's just very scary. And it is constantly just tense and uneasy. Whereas this is a bit more of like it's like a horror character drama almost. Like, a lot of weapons is spent with these characters fleshing out their stories and things.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of so they're both incredible films. I think Weapons is a better film, but
Yeah.
not like, why can't we have all of Craig's films? We don't need to get rid of one.
Are you keen to see what he does with the Resident Evil franchise?
I was going to ask you guys this. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if anyone can do it now, I've got faith in him. He is kind of like the horror director who I've got all my stocks in. He said it's not going to be adapting the games. He's kind of like, it's an original sort of story in the world. I'm like, that's probably good.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill from the other movies, got to admit.
Yes. Some masterpieces.
I've seen some of them gunfight scenes, and yeah.
Like, I truly think anyone, like, even rewatching Barbarian and Weapons is like, he's got urban horror down. Like, you can do, he's kind of knows how to do monsters with practical effects.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, there was a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, I can see, because he's a big video gamer.
Yep.
Like, so he's not just like a guy coming in being like, oh yeah, I remember that when I was a kid, I'll give it a shot. He plays this stuff. Like, I think it was an interview about Barbarian here. Oh no, it was about Weapons. I think he like almost lost the interview with Josh Brolin because he was playing Elden Ring or something. And he was like, he got his times mixed up. And it's like, what a legend. So I think he seems to come at this with proper reverence and like,
yeah. I hope that reference I don't think that reference will get in the way of him making a good movie either, right? Like, I think he knows what he's doing, but yeah, I'm really keen to see what he does with that. Because Resident Evil's been a lot of things over the years as well. Like, not just in terms of movies, but in terms of games. Like, its structure and the stories it tells have changed a lot over the years. So, it'd be interesting to see where he draws the inspiration from there and where it ends up. But it's an interesting world, and I'm keen to see what he does with it.
Yep.
All right, Luke, your turn.
All right.
Unless you want to keep talking about weapons.
No. So moving on from horror into something more about my favorite stuff, horror with trauma, is a movie called Bring Her Back.
Oh, fuck.
That came out this year. So synopsis says, Andy and his sister Piper face unsettling events while living with their foster mother Laura, whose grief and secrets draw them into a chilling supernatural ordeal. So some trauma, Conan, but some supernatural.
Just a little bit of trauma.
Now, this movie, I advocate a lot for. I watched this in the cinema a couple months ago when it first came out, and I feel like one of the only movies I can recall being in the cinema where I've physically had to block my eyes. Like, I was like, I can't physically handle observing this. Like, this is trauma. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. Yeah, that was the first one. There's two moments, or maybe three, and then somehow, as someone who's not a big horror guy, I've ended up watching this movie 3 times this year because then I convinced my wife to watch it a few weeks later. I was like, you got to watch this film. Okay, I'll watch it with you. You need to know how messed up this is. And then I did it with you guys. We watched it together. So this is another film the three of us watched together. I love this film. I think this does such a, I don't know, this film is powerful. I feel like just what it, joking about trauma and everything like that, but what this movie represents around grief, I found very profound. I found like it hurt. Like even a character who does awful shit in this movie where you're like, this person's a horrible person, and there's super triggering moments like with gaslighting, and you're like, oh, this is so frustrating. Like, I feel for this young guy. This is so frustrating. But then like the next scene, you'll see, the mother's perspective, and it's like you feel so bad. Like there's some lines that have stayed with me. You know what I mean? Like where she's talking about her daughter and everything like that, and that just as a parent, I feel like was like, oh man, like how could you not like feel for that sort of thing? And I just feel, body horror wise, this movie has some stuff that's just haunted me. Little potbelly kids who have been feasting on things and eating tables and just the teeth breaking and chewing knives, like fucked me up for weeks. I have chills thinking about it. Like I was just like,
had to go back for more twice.
I know 3 times, but like, man, I just remember watching this in the cinema, and like when it finished, I felt like it was the most quiet a cinema has ever been, and there was a bunch of people in there, and we also just got up and shuffled out of the room, and I felt like we all should just sort of like put our arms around each other, be like, oh, there, we made it, Like Conan, that's why I needed you to comfort me that night after we watched the movie. But
and we could, we snuggled.
Exactly. I was feeling very scared, but no, I highly recommend this movie to anyone that hasn't seen it. And I just one of my favorite movies of the year for sure. What did you guys think?
Yeah, really good. You're right, very affecting, especially in those body horror moments. The gaslighting is like next level. Like it really is. It is like the other trauma you feel watching this movie, right? Like there's those traumatic scenes, but then there's Sally Hawkins who like just plays that character so well.
Amazing.
And like having watched like Paddington later in the year, where she's the nicest person ever, and then you look back at Bring Her Back, and she's like outwardly nice, but just horrible behind, like in secret, I guess. It's very, very affecting. And then the thing that got me is like there's survivors at the end, and the trauma that they must have, like the little boy. I feel for Oliver. Like, oh my goodness,
gets away from this.
No, nobody comes out of this unscathed, and it's quite haunting.
What's his digestion look like for the next like?
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know.
His teeth, his jaw, like, oh man. But it's just so much effective stuff, like the shower with the dad and like her giving mouth to mouth resuscitation. There's just so much gross stuff in this that's like, and I will say, if you guys haven't rewatched it, like it's good for a rewatch. There's so much small details from the start that you pick up where you're like, oh wow, that's implying this thing that you pick up later. And there's the creepy home videos that she's watching, which is just straight up creepy to start the movie. Conan, what do you think as our horror guy?
So this is a movie that, like, people talk about having a list of movies they'll never watch again. This is truly probably one of those movies that I'm like, I will never watch this again. This is a miserable film. Like it is, it's misanthropic. It's sorrowful. Like it is a slog. If I've ever sat through a movie that is a slog, that is not a criticism. This is a great film. But it is like there is no humor to be found. There is nothing lightness. Even the brief light interactions where they first meet each other and there's like, oh, we're all being friendly. I'm like, even this is just like shot really dully. And I just feel really like sad watching this because I know it's going to go bad and everything's going to be miserable in here. Like I said, the opening scene with these satanic home videos from Eastern Europe or something.
Big fat dude in his undies, like
that's genuine. Like that is genuinely one of the best things I've seen in a long time. Like it is so terrifying. It feels so real. That feels real. I think the Philippines might actually have found some evil shit and been like, let's make a movie about this. Because it feels like, and I kind of want to see a movie just delving into that stuff because that is so demonic.
And the way you don't understand like how it connects with the rest of the story either. Like it's just apropos of nothing. It starts the movie off, and then it really doesn't come together until the end. It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's cult video.
Yeah,
Chekhov's blood orgy. You know? It's always those orgies always pay off eventually.
Yeah,
but even then, like it cuts the scene straight after that, after the title card, is it cuts to the main character Piper.
Yeah,
and she's trying to make a friend, and these girls bully her. And it's like, God, there is just nothing that's not miserable in this movie. There is never a scene that's less than like awful, and these people are the worst of the worst.
I have a counter argument. As someone who's seen it 3 times, we get Shannon Knoll. We get Shannon Knowles. What about me? And we get the Veronicas playing. And Shannon Knoll in a movie in 2025 won me over. Sorry, I was rocking out to that.
You get some great Australiana in here. That's true.
Yes.
You get all them, Sally Hawkins' Australian accent's probably the best non-Australian accent I've heard as well.
Oh yeah.
Like there was moments of this. I'm like, is she Australian? And I just haven't realized this.
Straight up.
But yeah, look, honestly, great film. Really effective, really terrifying. Just miserable.
And like obviously we've gone into a bit of spoiler stuff, but like I don't know, even when as you're talking about it, like sorrowful is a good word for it, but like the fact that, you know, the character you're rooting for, Andy, like for most of this film, his ending is just like just like in a puddle, like it's just it's such a gut punch, like gut punch after gut punch after gut punch.
The trauma topic of it's interesting, like that conversation of is this like I'm not trying to deride all horror movies that deal with trauma. Trauma is fine, you know. I mean, Friday the 13th kind of deals with this, and that's like a classic timeless slasher. So it's not like trauma is instantly a problem for these movies to have. It works in this movie because this movie's like the trauma is kind of the super text. Like it is everything about this movie. It is literally someone who's like, I am doing evil shit to overcome my trauma. I think my problem with the trauma in horror films is when it's like it's never mentioned and it's kind of revealed last minute. Oh, I was assaulted, and that's why this demon is affecting me. And if I overcome my grief, or if I learn to live with this, the demon stops bothering me. And that's kind of, you know, that's played as like this cheap payoff of like that's the evil. It's trauma, and trauma is the great evil in our lives and all this stuff. It's lazy, it's simple, it's all this.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's like it is genuinely part of the text. Like these are all just like there's like three agents of trauma colliding, and kind of like how that. And there's something to say there about like how trauma does actually just like rot and corrode everything around it when left unsort of. Oh, you know, like this is the damage it can cause in life. Like the reveal of Andy's, I don't want to spoil, but the reveal of Andy's sort of backstory there and how that has obviously been like this source of just destroying his soul, and how obviously Sally Hawkins is genuinely summoning Satan because of her trauma. Like this is all kind of interesting because it's a genuine part of the narrative, and so I think they do a good job there, being like this kind of goes into the character's direct motivations. There is almost like an awareness and an acknowledgement of everyone being deeply fucked up, and that being a reason why they're doing it, versus like we all have trauma and that has let this demon possess. That is like possessing my child, sort of thing. That would be the laziest sort of comparison I can make. So I'm not trying to shit on all trauma. Trauma is a valid thing.
Trauma's good. We're fans of trauma. But
we need we need more trauma.
But yeah, last thing I'll say is just like, this movie helped me discover that like dental horror is my trigger. But I was like, no, I can't handle seeing this sort of shit. Anything with teeth, I instantly just sent chills down my spine. I couldn't watch it.
Have you guys seen the ARG website they launched with this movie?
No.
No, but the Philippus, they've done some other ones in the past. They did one called Ash Vlogs on YouTube, and it's really good. But no,
there's blackangeltapes.net, and basically it's a site where they're selling cursed items essentially, but you can supposedly buy the tapes and a bunch of other things on there as well. It's like straight out of 1999. It's very creepy, but very cool. Like, I don't know. I love when they go to this effort to do these sorts of things. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Because the Philippou brothers, like, they got their start in YouTube and doing all this stuff. And so they've done, like, a bunch of ARGs in the past with their Rack channel and their sort of network of content creators and stuff. So they're born in this, you know, they were molded by this environment. So they'd be the best people to do this stuff. Yep. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. I don't know if they have a third film in the works, because they did talk to me, which is great. I'm super keen to see what they do because they're pretty great filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure. Griner.
All right. Moving away from fictional horror to real life horror. My next movie is a real pain. So it's I think it technically came out last year, but I only watched it this year. It's written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, and it's about two cousins who reunite for a tour through Poland to honor their grandmother. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect of this movie. I kind of was up early one morning, wanted to watch a movie, was looking through what had just recently come out on streaming services, and this was it. So went into it blind, wasn't sure what to expect, and came out of it just really feeling something for these two fictional characters and their trek through Poland and their grandmother that they lost, and knowing that this is probably a very real story for some people. But then also just the performances of both Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin are really, really good. Particularly Kieran Culkin is great. He's a real fuck up, but he's like lovable at the same time. And again, you know, there's a lot of trauma there. He's really screwed up, but his performance is really good. And then Jesse Eisenberg just being this uptight guy who kind of doesn't feel anything, but then he gives this great monologue about how, like, my pain is so unexceptional, I don't feel the need to burden anybody with it. And it just, like, that hit me in the feels. Yeah, you guys have seen this movie, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know, it really felt to me like it was these two guys going on a genuine tour through Poland and seeing where their grandmother lived and seeing concentration camps and all these other horrors that these past generations lived through. And yeah, I don't know, just exploring that generational trauma, I suppose.
That's the thing. It 100%, I feel like, feels like you're watching Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I didn't know this about them.
In some ways, yeah. Yep.
Their characters are so sort of, I guess, personality-wise linked to maybe not what they're like in real life, but like what those actors are known for, I would guess. You know, like Kieran Culkin. So at the start of this year, just binged all 4 seasons of Succession. And so then I came out of that being like, oh man, I'm so excited for Real Pain. And you know, I think you can see similarities into like his character's performance from Succession in this as well, with obviously a few differences, but he is a truly like amazing actor. Like he's really good at this role sort of thing. I think Conan, you've mentioned to me before, like it seems like this is his role that he's doing. So it'd be interesting to see what he does outside of this, but what he does is effective. Like there's some scenes in Succession that I'll always remember where I was like, wow, that was really powerful acting. You know what I mean? He can tap into that, and he does it in this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I think I went into it with different expectations. I kind of went into this being like, oh my God, this movie is going to be so funny. Like this, like Kieran Culkin, and this is going to be. So, I went into it more as like a comedy, and I was expecting that. So I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't until halfway through I was like, man, this is pretty dour for a comedy. Like, you know what I mean? But what is there, I really enjoyed. Like simple things with like placing the rock at the house and like then dealing with the people that live there and the neighbor and they're getting into an argument and all this stuff that feels real of like, yeah, this is probably what would happen when you try and have this like nice moment.
There's this romanticization of what they're doing, but then the reality kind of hits them of, no, that's a hazard. Don't put a rock there. And like, yeah.
It's I really enjoyed it though. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that idea of like how we like the world moves on and life moves on and her house just becomes a house by someone else, like completely unremarkable. And like there's this sort of specter in the whole film of their grandmother. They keep talking about everyone they meet. They're like, yeah, we're doing this for her, and she's clearly like this ghost that haunts them. But it's like she's kind of the rest of the world's moved on, and in a way, it's like who's doing this to themselves? Like they're kind of making this problem for themselves. They've both sort of accepted this thing that they can't move past. They have to live. They're like, oh, we need to do this to understand our family and all this stuff. And it's like. Raises a lot of fascinating questions about that idea of generational trauma and what you do with that, you know, and some reveals come in where like at one point, like that dinner scene where Jesse Eisenberg breaks down and kind of gives that monologue about his trauma being unremarkable. And that comes on the tail end of Kieran Culkin kind of just being in having his little breakdown and being an
Yeah.
asshole to people.
Mm.
And sort of the reveal kind of comes that the grandmother was also kind of sick of his shit as well. She wanted him to move out. Whereas in his mind, he's like, they were the closest people in the world. Like a lot of like very probing with all that stuff and like how we sort of narrativize our lives and the people's lives of our family and place importance on things that sometimes importance shouldn't be placed on, or sometimes like it is, but it exists separate to us, and it exists. We have to, it becomes something in the past that you have to move on from rather than fixating on. A lot of cool ideas. My only criticism of this film would be with sort of probably the performances. Like I do feel like Kieran Culkin is playing Kieran Culkin. And that's not necessarily a criticism, but like seeing his acceptance speech at the Oscars, I'm like, this is you. You are the guy from Succession. You are this guy. Like it is the exact same character. He talks really fast. He sort of says some random non sequiturs. He swears and like he's funny. He's charming. He's really he's really charismatic. But there's kind of like this weirdness to it. I'm like, that's you, and that's fine. There's a good rich history of actors who do that, who sort of play one thing really well because it's just them putting themselves on screen. But I'm kind of like, a lot of praise was directed to Kieran Culkin for this, and he won the Oscar for it. But I'm kind of like, what's really great acting? Is it just acting, being you on screen for 2 hours, or is it actually immersing yourself in a different character for 2 hours? There's arguments to be had for both. Maybe one's more honest. Maybe he's more transparent and more true to his authenticity. I don't know. All that said, this is a really good movie. Like I found it pretty moving. I kind of like the understatedness of it, where there's no huge, there isn't any huge like emotional catharsis for them. There is that dinner scene, and that's about it. But then all the other characters, like they sort of have to move on. It's like, well, we're on a tour here. Yeah. We're not just gonna we're not all gonna hug you and cry and do this. We're like, we're just gonna move on and not talk about it again.
We're just trying to enjoy our nightmare. We just want to go back to our room.
And now we've got these two weirdos crying, and it's a really like this is actually kind of like a great sort of vibe movie, even though it's not funny. Like it's just a really sort of like nice walk through a dark history.
Yeah.
With the beauty of foresight, where we don't have to necessarily wallow in it. And that's kind of what I think the characters learn a little bit. It's like you don't have to, you don't have to wallow in the fact that this happened. Like you can sort of also appreciate that generations following those generations don't have to go through that, and life got a bit easier for them and stuff. And that's, there's like a strange like pleasantness to this, where they walk through a beautiful countryside and they're like, we're talking about the Holocaust. We can't. And Kieran Culkin's whole thing about it is like, we keep forgetting we're moving on from this, and it's like, yeah, you have to. You can't just you can't live in trauma for your whole life.
Yeah,
that lets demons in.
Exactly.
Kidnap a young boy and have him eat a corpse to resurrect your grandmother. You can't have that.
Now that would have been a great twist.
Oh man, Jesse,
I don't think I could have coped with that. That might have been too much. Step too far.
He eats the tour guide and he's like, I found a book. We can bring it back.
All right, Conan, shit. What's your next movie?
I'll talk about 28 years later, but we talked about that. I'm going to talk about a TV show. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Good with that? Cool. Adolescence. Probably the biggest TV show of the year.
You sunk my battleship.
I was assuming you would I was assuming you'd talk about this, but I was like,
I had a whole pitch to be my last one to be like, speaking of trauma, the theme of the episode. But no, that's all right. I've got plenty to pick from. So adolescence.
I'll touch on it, but you can talk more about it if you want. But yeah, adolescence. Again, kind of I feel like the biggest the naturally occurring cultural TV moment of the year. The show kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously, Netflix doesn't do much marketing. So it came out one day, and then this was just everywhere. Every single person I knew talked about it. Obviously, I'm a parent with young kids. And so this was kind of like a hot topic amongst people in my group. I don't have a group, but people sort of my demographic, I suppose. And like my wife was going to watch this one night. She doesn't really watch movies or TV. But I came in one night and I was like, what are you watching? She's like, oh, the show Adolescence. It was like, turn it off right now. We need to watch this together. Because I'd heard amazing things. And we sat down, I think we watched all of them in one night, or at least like 3 and then 1.
It's the way to do it, yeah.
But just like a well-deserved phenomenon. Like, this is not one of those shows that came on like, no, let's criticize Tiger King. It's not a show that comes in and the whole world gets enchanted by just because it's so weird or so like so crazy or so sort of such a guilty pleasure. Like, this is a truly kind of profound piece of work where 4 episodes, they are all shot as one take, which is an incredible feat in and of itself. Really adds to I think the stories. It really adds to sort of what the subtext of each episode's narrative. So it's not just like gimmicky and like, look what we can do. It actually feels like these are snapshots of a life. They try to capture a moment of a life-altering crime, and how just sort of like you learn. This is one small lens into it, and what you can learn from that, and how you can sort of see into this multifaceted thing. And so aside from the technical stuff, though, just like this is kind of like the great text of a great text of the existential fear of children in this time, like social media and the fears of what they can do, and the manosphere, and people like Andrew Tate, who gets name dropped in this, like these toxic subcultures that live online and that our kids are inevitably going to stumble into and are going to find, and that we as parents are going to be ill-equipped to sort of help them with. Like, this is a great fear that I know I have, and I think every parent has it, at least every parent in our generation. And this is kind of like this is a great show that's like, here is a great work of fiction about it. It covers like a fictional crime and this young kid who commits it, and how all these characters try to grapple with that, and like, how could this happen? And it's pretty amazing because I also think this doesn't get lost in the let's like try to explain why this is all Andrew Tate's fault, even though a lot of it is Andrew Tate's fault. He's a piece of shit. It doesn't do the lazy thing of being like, oh, it's because of X, Y, and Z, and that's the problem. It's not just like this sort of bias or like propaganda machine. It remains pretty unbiased for most of it. It is just like, this is a thing that's happened, or these are things that are happening, and this is something that could very easily happen.
Doesn't feel preachy. Doesn't feel like, it feels real. Like,
yes. And it's never like, it never gets out and built. There's no character who's like, I'll tell you who's done this. It's this guy. Here's a 20-minute exposition dump of why he's done it. It's just like, this is the world we live in. This is shit that can happen. And like, really confronting, like in really dark and really, really harrowing stuff.
Like, Conan, you and I exchanged texts about this a bit when we both first watched it, sort of thing. I had a similar thing with my wife, actually, where she wanted to watch it. I wanted to play like Oblivion Remastered or something, and I was like, I'm just just run around Cyrodiil. And so she ended up watching the whole show in one day, and then she was like, wow, you should really watch that show. And then the next day, I think she was out, she was doing something, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll check this show. And then she came home, and I was like in like the 3rd episode, and I was like captivated, man. Like, I was like, I've just been watching all these episodes. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then she sat down and watched the last episode or 2 with me as well. And I was just like, this show had a profound impact on me. Just like personally, it made me cry. Like it made me a mess. Like, when this show wrapped up, like I just sat there like thinking about life, thinking about fatherhood, thinking about all this stuff. I felt like I had to text you. I told Griner, you really need to watch this. It's life changing. And he was like, fuck you, I don't care. I'm playing Magic the Gathering.
Like, my life's the best. I don't need to learn shit.
I don't need to learn any moral lessons. No, but like, I just I don't know, it brought up a lot for me where I was like, oh man, like, have I failed in this regard in my life, or could I do better in this regard, or am I doing better in this? Like, it just, or even like to the point I was like, oh, did my parents do this right, or could my parents done this? Like, it made me think about so much in my life, and I don't know, it had an impact for weeks after. Like, even now, I feel like I look at things differently, and I look at talking to my kids differently, parenting my kids, making sure I'm doing the right things, making sure like what they're accessing. Like, it's just in this digital world we live in, and it seems like it's so relevant to today's like society, and like so crazily relevant. Like, it's scary. And I think that was some of our like text exchange was like, oh man, like I'm kind of scared for the future of like what our world is like, because some stuff, like our parents didn't have to deal with like similar stuff like this, or they dealt with different things, but we didn't have to deal with this at their age growing up. And you know, my son's 10 years old and my daughter's 8 years old, and it's like I feel like that's the prime age for this show to hit me where it got me, sort of thing. Outside of like just personal impact on me, the performance in this show are fucking outstanding. Like Owen Cooper is possibly has the best child actor performance I possibly have ever seen, where I was like, wow, like for a kid. When you realize that this is like in one take, like there's like an episode that's like just almost entirely one scene of him and this other person, and it is incredibly acted. So well done, so raw, and it's like, wow, they did that in one take. Like that's insane. Like that's insane acting, like on a whole nother level. And obviously there might be trickery. I don't know what happened behind the scenes to make it work as it did, but as it appears,
all honest one takes.
That's insane. Like, I don't think that's possible, you know? And for a kid to accomplish that, Stephen Graham, and, you know, obviously he's won awards and deservingly so. Stephen Graham has won awards as the father. He was incredible as well. I don't know. I don't want to talk about, Grant, you should watch this show.
I know. It's
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't. It's on my list of shame, I suppose. I know I should watch it. I should just buckle down and do it.
Yeah.
Look, when it came out, I don't know. I don't think I needed that in my life at that time. I think I could cope with it now, but
yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is hard. Like, it is like a hard watch. Again, speaking of shows that are up, speaking of like, you know, Bring Her Back and things that are just a bit miserable. This is kind of that. It's just like 4 episodes of misery, and it's like, wow, what a state we have left.
Not in the same way as Bring Her Back. I think this is much more digestible and more captivating, where you'll be like, oh wow, I want to watch more. Yeah, more digestible than Bring Her Back. But you're
definitely
right. A worthy watch. Like, yeah.
But it's just hard to. It is still harrowing. It's like, wow, this is kind of the world we live in, and you know, I sort of, at least when I was watching it, the whole time I was like, yeah, these are all problems that I've known about. And this is kind of why I was talking to some people from my church, like people the same kids my age, and none of them had seen it because not many of them watch TV, or they're a bit, I don't know, whatever. They just missed it. They were busy. And so I was like, but they'd all heard about it as well. And they were like, yeah, people we know have been talking about it. I was like, you need to watch this show because it's kind of articulates all these loose ideas that I think we've been told about. You know, we've heard the public service announcements that have been like, hey, the internet's bad for your kids. Do you know they're looking online? It's like, yeah, I know. I'll make sure to monitor them. I'll get parental guards, whatever. I'll be a good parent. I'll do that shit. But I know for myself, you know, it's so easy to just be like, look, I don't know. It's too hard. Life's busy. Life's stressful. I don't really know how to do this. I think we're doing good enough. Like, even with my kids watching TV, it's when my daughter watches 2 hours of Gabby's Doll's House, I'm like, I could at least like mix this up and put some different shows on for you. That would be better for your attention span, but it's just easier not to. And so watching this, I'm like, this is kind of not to say this is what will always happen, but like, this is just an interesting insight of like, because there's an episode where the parents are like, we thought we were doing what was right. And they articulate it in really beautifully eloquent and realistic ways of like, how did this happen? How did we cause this? Like, are we responsible for this? And just grappling with that fact of like, you're not, but this is the world that like, you've done nothing wrong really, but at the same time, you haven't done enough. And I was just like, shit, that is so true. And yeah, look, that's kind of why I texted you. I was like, what have we done to our kids? I'm like, how do we stop this from happening? And I don't know if there is a way, but that awareness that it kind of raised in me, and like, parents need to watch this show just to sort of articulate this a bit more. Like, I'm not calling you a bad parent, Grant, but I'm starting to worry, I guess.
You saying I shouldn't mix up Gabby's Dollhouse with Andrew Tate videos? Was that a mistake?
Show your son Andrew Tate videos. Show your daughter Gabby's Dollhouse. It's that simple. Okay.
An experiment. We'll see how they turn out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Science will thank you in 50 years.
No, I will.
Right,
I will endeavour to watch it as I must now that you've implored me as a bad parent to do so. Yeah. All right, Luke, hit us with your second recommendation.
Yes. So, now I had to mix it up and chuck another one in now because one of mine was taken. But another horror film. Actually, I've become the horror guy.
Luke is the horror guy this year.
You've been a bad influence on me.
It's my turn next year.
So Together. So this movie starring Dave Franco, Alison Brie.
Mm-hmm.
This is it a body horror? Supernatural horror, but body horror. Synopsis, if you need it. So years into their relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads when they move to the countryside, abandoning all that is familiar in their lives except each other. With tensions already flaring, a nightmarish encounter with a mysterious unnatural force threatens to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. So I guess everyone knows the basic premise of this movie of people joining bodies and like getting stuck to each other or whatever. I was kind of not on board for watching this movie. Like I'd kind of just watch it because I was like, I want to go to the cinema. It's getting good reviews. Body horror grosses me out, so I was like, I thought this would be really, really bad. But then I just watched Bring Her Back, and I was like, hey, nothing else can. Surely this can't be worse.
Nothing can hurt me now.
Yeah, exactly. I survived that. So I went and watched this and had a lot of fun watching this movie. Like it has body horror, but have either of you seen it? No. Okay, so I won't go into too much, but yeah, like just had a lot of fun watching this movie. There's comedy in this. There is horror, but it's an easily digestible film. Like it's an easy watch where you kind of like along for the ride. Like, oh my god, how are they going to get out of this circumstance or this circumstance? But it does some interesting stuff with themes that we've talked about in other movies. I don't want to go into it too much, but the cast are really good. Dave Franco is really good. Alison Brie is really good. I think the marketing around this was a little weird. That probably turned people off a bit with Alison Brie and Dave Franco just pretending to be stuck together in public and kissing in public for long periods of time. But because obviously they're a real life married couple or engaged couple or whatever. But despite that, this is a very strong film. Darman Harriman is a supporting character in this who's really good. I like him from Justified. He was one of my favorite characters from Justified.
Oh, the Australian guy.
Dewey from Justified. Yeah, he's really good in this. And yeah, I don't know. I can't talk too much about it since nobody's seen it. But yeah, I strongly recommend this film as a good, fun body horror film. I'm surprised you haven't seen it, Conan.
There's a bit of controversy around this movie that they stole the plot or the script from someone. Yeah.
I don't know how that all ended up. I just remember before this movie came out, basically guy being like, I presented this screenplay to them a year before they started making this movie. And it's basically this movie, like the whole plot of this movie, which, yeah, I think that along with the marketing kind of put a bit of a negative taint on this.
I think that put a bit of downer on it for me because I was kind of keen to see this, and then that came out and the reviews were good, but not like you must see this or anything. Like, oh, okay, I might, but I would like to watch it. I think
that put a picture in my mind where I was like, they're kind of scummy people. I don't know if I should support this. It's got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's one of my favorite movies of the year for sure. I've watched it twice now because then like when it came out on video on demand, I was like, okay, I convinced my wife, like, you should watch this movie. It's really good. So we watched that again. So yeah, highly recommend this film. Dave Franco's good. No James Franco, but no.
You're saying that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Up to interpretation.
We're not allowed to be pro James Franco anymore.
No. Spider-Man 3.
Still, when's that?
We'll see.
When does that thing go so we can be pro James again?
I don't
Remember that surprise James Franco in Alien Covenant? What a word.
Yeah, then he burned it down. Alien Covenant. Yeah, but Dave Franco is really good. Alison Brie is really good. So
yeah,
check it out.
Yeah. It's on my list.
Try not to sexualize her. You should watch Community. All right. Should we go through a few disappointments for the year if you guys got some? Just so we don't end on a downer, because I feel like we used to do this last and it felt very sad. I've got a couple. First one is Friendship. Tim Robinson movie with Paul Rudd.
This was going to be your recommended.
I think it's a disappointment because I had high expectations for this movie. I think you should leave. Getting that right, aren't
Yeah.
I? I like Paul Rudd. Like I thought this would be a match made in heaven. I thought it would be very funny. It is. It's also super weird, and maybe just didn't live up to expectations. I think. Like it felt. It felt more like an A24 drama that had Tim Robinson in it for some reason, rather than a Tim Robinson skit writ large, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna put it on my disappointment. I didn't hate it by any means, but I don't think it lived up to my expectations.
Okay.
Being a Tim Robinson fan. Elio? I think, Luke, you've seen this. It was...
Yeah,
I mean, look,
something.
I don't know. I didn't have high expectations for this, but Disney Pixar should be making good shit. Elio was not great. Came out like a wet fart, I think. I don't know that anybody saw it. Even my kids didn't get excited to see it when it finally came out on streaming, who I went to see it with, so...
I enjoyed it, but I had low expectations. But like, I'm a big Pixar fan and all this, and this is like the quality has very, very much dropped over the years. It's a shame to see because this is not a memorable film, and I don't think I'd ever watch it a second time.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. Something's happened to Disney.
Like they're trying to just churn out too much stuff, I think. But anyway. And finally, a TV series called Good American Family. Have you guys heard of this? It's like a dramatization based on the true story of a family who adopted a girl from overseas, and then they claimed she was a little person and not a child who was taking advantage of them.
Is this a horror film called like Orphan or something?
I think. So the reason they believe that she is a little person is because they saw that film and they thought that it was happening to them.
Oh, shit.
It's based on a true story. It actually is kind of interesting because it does some cool stuff with perspective. Like the first half is from the family's perspective and the second half is from her perspective, and it really repaints the whole story. It does that well, but my problem with it is it's a very long mini series that just belabors its point over and over again. Like it's just too much.
Yeah.
You should read the true story of it because that is actually interesting. This dramatization just not so great. Conan?
On Netflix?
No, it's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, okay. Okay, disappointments. I have 3 that will stand out. So there's Havoc, which is the Gareth Edwards or Gareth the guy who made the Raid. The guy who made the Raid, not the guy who made Rogue One.
Oh. What you mean?
Gareth Evans. So Gareth Evans, the Welsh director, the guy who made the Raid, yes, very, very important action director. He's kind of been chasing that high. He made this Tom Hardy action film that came out on Netflix this year. It's been in development hell. It was meant to be released like 3 years ago, and it's just been held off. Finally dropped. It was promised to be a movie full of havoc and full of Tom Hardy just kicking ass and breaking bones. And you get some of that, but really disappointing. Just like there was some great action, but there's a lot of CGI, and there's a lot of then like time wasting narrative nonsense. And again, he's one of those directors who the Raid is up there with like best action films of all time, and he's constantly chasing that, I think. And this movie was like, I was expecting 2 hours of havoc, and there's about maybe 45 minutes of havoc, and the rest of it's like pretty awful script nonsense and trying to make me care about characters who I really don't need to care for. Just make him say I have kids and they're gonna die, and I'm like, cool, go kill people now. I get it. So that was a shame. I was really excited for that. Companion, the horror film with Jack Quaid. This came in a lot of people's top. This is in a lot of like top movies of the year's list. A lot of people really like this film. I think my problem with it is it's not a trauma film, but it is a film that has a very clear message that it's trying to say about
beats you over the head with it.
Yes, about abusive relationships and misogyny and all these like relevant topics that are worthy of engagement, but without a doubt. But yeah, really beats you over the head of it. Has got a very clear like, hey, look at what he's doing. He is a problem, and she is being treated like an object because she's an object, and it becomes a narrative of her reclaiming her agency and like just really kind of lazy and superficial exploration of that. And we're trying to use the sci-fi horror genre would explore deeply important issues. Like, get fucked. Do that properly. Don't just be like, we're doing a pretty subpar movie about this, and then you're just going to try to act like it's complicated because you got androids. I don't know. I do not get the praise for this movie. A lot of people are like, yeah, I've seen a lot of lists of like best films of the year. Nonsense, just not that good.
I'll take it off my third
I
recommendation.
know. It was pretty close on
Please
mine too,
do.
actually. To be honest,
You're all full.
it would have been in my honorable mentions.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And the other one is Strange Darling. Have you guys seen Strange Darling?
No.
Looks like a movie I haven't seen this year. What?
No, I thought you meant it was that one with directed by Olivia Wilde. Something.
Oh,
Darling.
don't worry, doll. Don't worry.
Yeah,
darling.
and I was like, wait, is that one? And then I was like, no.
No, so this is Strange Darling. So I think this is actually a 2023 film, but it had like a really delayed release, and only really came out here in maybe 2024. I don't know. I'm going to put it on here anyway. Again, a film that came out was like making big waves in a lot of like film site circle things. People were really talking it up, but yeah, again, just a very sort of pretentious movie. Like literally opens with a title card of saying that this was shot on 35 millimeter film. Why in God's name are you telling us this? Like it's the weirdest thing.
It's a little
and
pretentious.
it's not a movie about movies. So it has
really into that, Conan.
I'm into it when I read about it on IMDb trivia pages, or when someone on a film Reddit's like, "Hey, this is actually a 35mm print, so the 4K restoration is crisp." I like that. I don't like it when the movie tells me, "Hey, we made this on 35mm," just in case you were wondering. So,
Yeah.
So it's by JT Molnar. He's really talented. He's a good writer director, but this is just a film that is. This feels like a film school film, and not in like it's rough way, but in it's too polished way. It's got so many weird flourishes and techniques and styles and choices and weird little things of like artsy scene of slow-mo running and then really artistic lighting. Like he's throwing every single technique he's ever learned about on screen,
And just shoved it.
which I guess is like. Yeah, and so like every sort of new thing's happening. He's like, oh, okay, now you're doing this, and this is reminiscent of 40s noir films. Oh, now you're doing this. This is folk 70s horror. And I was like, okay, all of his inspirations there. Everything's on screen. It becomes just a bit of a mess, and I think it's very kind of silly, which is a shame because a lot of cool ideas. And what I read with people like great twist, great all sorts of stuff. Giovanni Ribisi was the director of photography on this.
Yeah, okay.
He's really
Avatar
into cameras,
fame.
and so he's famed Avatar star, and so he's really he knows his stuff. Like it does look really good in some scenes, but yeah, disappointing.
True.
Luke.
My disappointing films of the year. So I have a couple. Captain America: Brave New World. I don't think any of you guys have seen this film, and I don't blame you. Possibly the worst piece of shit I've ever seen on a cinema screen in my life. This movie,
Man.
like, makes me angry. I think this movie single-handedly almost killed the MCU for me, where I was like, I don't want to watch these films anymore. Like, it is the most filmed in a backlot with CGI background, filmed in a day almost, nothing movie that I can ever recall where... Like there's a scene in it where I was like, oh, okay, cool. Here's an epic battle but it looked like shit. That I saw in the trailers, and I was like, kind of expecting this to be like almost like the inciting incident at the start of the film, and then it turned out it was the climax. Like that was the last battle of the movie, and I was like, oh, the movie's over. I was like, shit, nothing happened. Like that was so boring. I will never watch this movie again. And yeah, I don't know. As someone who liked the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, I had hopes for this. I was like, oh, this will be good. Yeah, no, awful movie. Ballerina, or From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I enjoy this movie. Like, I'm just saying, I'm disappointed because I had higher hopes for it. This never reaches the level of any of the John Wicks, even like the really bad second one. Like it doesn't. There are cool fight scenes. Like there is cool choreography. We know that's what John Wick's for. But I just felt this movie drag. Like, I don't even know how long it is. It must be around 2 hours.
I think it's
But-
like 2 hours. I'm just thinking.
But it feels like 3. Like, it felt like a slog and like I watched this the same day I watched Bring Her Back, and I walked out of Bring Her Back with more energy. And I should have walked out of this with a lot more energy. Like, Evanescence does a song for this movie, and I love Evanescence. So I was like hyped for this. I love Anna de Armas. She's awesome. So this had, and like I love John Wick. This had the recipe for like a perfect movie for me, and that's probably why I'm disappointed. Like, it is a serviceable movie. You will enjoy it, but it just, yeah, I don't know. Like, just didn't accomplish the same heights of what I thought it could. Conan, have you seen that yet? Just a brief thing as a big John Wick guy.
Not yet, no. I know I've got it here, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, I mean, the reception of this movie has been very mixed and overall pretty critical.
I'd be surprised if it gets a sequel.
Yeah, which is a shame. It looked like initially it seemed really exciting. Spin-off, Anna de Armas has proven she's got really good action skills. And so I was excited, but then from what I've gathered, at least they did a lot of reshoots because they were worried that people wouldn't know it's John Wicky, so they renamed it. They put in Keanu, made him more of a role.
Yes, and it feels pretty forced where things just change all of a sudden. It's like, oh, now there's a scene with this guy in here, and it's like, it just goes on. There's a good film in there somewhere that it could be, and a good short film. It didn't need to be more than what it was. And I guess the last thing I'll say for disappointment, didn't have huge expectations other than people talking it up, but I guess I'll put it in the Smashing Machine. At one point, this was going to be our boys' night movie we were going to go watch. You know, the Rock getting Oscar buzz. Like, I need to see this. I'm a big supporter of The Rock. This movie was just nothing as well, just dull. I don't even think the performances, like Emily Blunt is good. Emily Blunt is good in everything. This is not. Like, I didn't watch this and be like, wow, The Rock needs an Oscar for this. I was like, The Rock's like the 3rd best wrestler actor. Still, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the people who say like The Rock deserves an Oscar for this needs to watch Peacemaker season 2, because John Cena deserves way better than what The Rock's getting in this movie. I don't find the characters interesting. Don't find the real life person that interesting. So by the end of this movie, I was just like, that was kind of a waste of my time. Not recommended. So
I really need to see this movie because all the criticism is just because there's been so many. It was getting really highly touted, and A24 did a lot of marketing for this. Benny Safdie, who's with his brother, has proven they were really good directors. Now they've split and they're each directing movies, and it's pretty funny seeing which one seems to be the talented one. But all the criticisms I've heard about this movie are just so interesting because they're like that. Like, this is just not a movie. This is like a documentary remade, and there's no drama. And I'm like, what is this film?
It almost feels like a documentary of minimal events. Like, it's not even like, oh my god, this is when this happened in this fighter's career. Like, it's like, oh, this is when he won a fight. This is when he lost a fight. There wasn't really anything big dramatic about it. Like, it's not Rocky. It's no Rocky storyline. And like, I don't know if it's because I've seen so much of The Rock, like in my life, so like since I was a kid, where I'm like, oh, this is The Rock doing his weird rock voice where it's kind of high pitched, and he's like, I'm doing this. He sounds weird, like, and the prosthetics make him look a little odd. You know what I mean? Like, it just, Emily Blunt is good, serviceable, not likable characters anywhere to be found in this movie. Weird. So very, very strange, and like there was a lot of hype around it before it came out. So, I was pretty excited for it. So that's my disappointed picks.
Wow.
All right, let's get back into our recommendations for the year. My third pick for the year. Now I put Friendship on my disappointment list. The Chair Company is my final recommendation. I think where Friendship fails, Tim Robinson succeeds with The Chair Company. It's Tim Robinson uncovering a vast criminal conspiracy about chairs. It feels like I think you should leave.
The table skit.
Kind of, no, not really. It's like I think you should leave sketches stitched together in a way that makes sense. There's some really off the wall shit in this series. I won't spoil anything, but like if you like Tim Robinson stuff, I think you'll like this. I'm not going to say there's like some standout performances from people or anything like that, but it's weird to me that Tim Robinson manages to get everybody else to act like he does when they act around him. Like everybody else has these weird reactions to everything and just say the most unhinged shit in the weirdest way. It all worked for me. There's an interesting conspiracy there, although it's not as interesting as watching his character navigate it, I guess, and just the strange things that happen to him throughout it.
Stranger Things.
I love, Tim Robinson. I did not expect to like him as much as I do. I saw him getting memed so much everywhere. I was like, oh, it's going to be another one of those comedians who's just the hot topic. I'm going to be a contrarian and not like it. And so then when I watched I Think You Should Leave, I was in stitches. I loved it. And which is why my other recommended film is Friendship.
Is it really?
No, I won't talk about that because it'll just be weird. But I think it's a really good film, and I'm disappointed that you're disappointed in it.
I liked it. I was just a little disappointed. The Chair Company I do recommend though. It's on HBO if you want to check it out. There's a good there's a big cast of other characters in this show too that play their roles well. Lots of faces I recognise from here, there, and everywhere in fun ways as well. Yeah.
He's the best at swearing. He just swears really well.
There's some pretty good swearing in this movie. He he does the voice acting for a radio show throughout it as well. It's just, I don't know. You know when you're a kid, like how there's the raunchy CDs. I'm trying to think of like Rodney Rood or something like that, but like this is like that turned up to 11.
Kevin Bloody Wilson.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. It's on that one of the characters likes to listen to, and it's clearly Tim Robinson doing it, and they're just screaming about the most unhinged things, and it's very funny. It's very funny. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend it. I won't spoil anything. But it does feel like I Think You Should Leave sketches stitched together with a somewhat coherent, if not absurd, plot.
Check it out.
You've sold me. I'm pretty keen to give it a go.
Conan will watch that. You need to watch Adolescence. So
I will.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm sure they're similar.
Similar messages behind them.
Both life changing.
Yeah.
Best ways. I'm just looking here to think what I want to do.
Conan came prepared, obviously.
I have a long list here. There's nothing else that's easily to stand out. I mean, the other best movie I saw was from like 2020, so I can't do that. I don't know if I want to talk about Long Walk or Court Stealing. Probably Long Walk. I think I'll that. The Long Walk.
Yes.
It's exactly what you see on the cover.
It's a long
walk. It goes for about 5 days. Apparently they don't stop. It's physically impossible, but this is a fictional movie, so I don't think that really matters. Haters are going to hate no matter what. Yeah, it's based off Stephen King's first book, actually. I think it has been adapted maybe once before, but no, actually maybe it hasn't been. I don't know. It's pretty uncinematic, so it was kind of like a bit of a shock that they did it, and they did it so well. I genuinely love this film. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who he's got a good resume of dystopian films, so it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel for him. But written by J.T. Molnar, like I said before. It just kind of, it is a really simple premise, but it embodies what King does well. And it's just a bunch of young men in a dystopian America going for a walk, and whoever is the last one to die,
stop walking.
Yeah, whoever the last survivor is wins like millions of dollars and gets a wish. And if that sounds as frighteningly vague as you think it does, it does. Yeah, that is kind of the interesting motivation that wants this. And so all these young men get into it and they just walk. And basically, this film just does an incredible thing. I guess it's what Stephen King does in the book as well, of just tapping into the humanity that these people are sharing on this long walk. They have nothing to do but basically talk.
Yeah.
But why would you talk to someone why would you get to know somebody and start to emotionally invest in someone who is going to get killed? And like the whole reason you are there is to hopefully outlive these people.
Two people can't win. It's like
that's right. And as soon as the movie starts, we're following Ray Garrity, who is played by what's his face, Cooper Hoffman, who's just incredible. He was in one of my other favorite movies that we talked about in this podcast, Licorice Pizza. As soon as he befriends Peter and Mick Vries, played by David Johnson, who's again another incredible performance. So these two guys,
Alien Romulus.
of Alien Romulus fame, yep.
Yeah.
Like they fill me with faith for the future of movie actors. But as soon as they start talking and getting chatty, it's just like shit, because one of them's gonna die, maybe both of them are gonna die. And you're like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you all talking? But it just taps into all these interesting issues on these topics of like these ideas of
Why are you helping each other? Like,
why would you help each other on this? And that idea of like, well, we're still people doing this, and how Cooper Hoffman's kind of doesn't want to be here, but he's like, he has a whole spiel at the beginning how he's like, you sort of, everyone signs up for this. You sort of have to give it a go. No one wants to really do it. And just this idea of like, in a dystopian world where there's not much to look for, what do you do? And why are we here? And you shouldn't lose humanity, even though it's impractical to have humanity. And just does an incredible job of like basically building these relationships, and you get to know all these characters pretty well. They all have pretty complex personalities, and they're all different. They all have backstories and issues and reasons why they're here, and different beliefs that sort of collide on the road. And just, yeah, you really get invested, and they talk about ideas and all this stuff. But keeping a movie that is literally just people walking cinematic is no small feat. But Francis Lawrence finds a way to do it. It's 108 minutes. It's nearly 2 hours. And there is a lot of scenes of just people on roads. But the way it sort of spreads out the walkers, and it shows them in different postures, different positions. It shows some of them getting weaker. And then how it starts to
different, yeah.
Yeah, and then when it starts to show them dying, you start to see injuries and the degradation and what they have to do to sort of to keep going. How they plot out their eating and their shitting and stuff is really fascinating. And
because there's like aspects of like you need to maintain this amount of speed. So it's like they were wearing watches where it's like if you go below this speed for 10 seconds straight, you'll get.
And the violence is pretty intense. Like it shows early on a character gets killed, and like you see his face get blown apart. It's like, okay, this is not just like, oh, you're out and you have to go sit it. It's like, this is life or death, and that sort of raises all these interesting other dilemmas that the characters have to deal with on this walk. Because what else are they going to do but talk about philosophy? And I love that shit. I love a movie that's just like it's characters talking about philosophy on the way to do something else.
Did it not remind you of our walks to get morning browns?
That's right. It was like, man, I've done the long walk. I was like,
this is the long walk, you know?
Where it's like, why are we even friends? We're all just going to die in 50 years. Why are we spending this time together?
Exactly.
And then Griner was like, yeah, I hate you guys. Screw you. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Griner, what's going on?
I will say this movie's right up my alley. Like Stephen King adaptation, right up my alley. I just haven't had a chance to see it. I'm not willing to pay $6 to YouTube to watch it, but maybe I should.
No, I mean, like, wait until it comes on stream. But it is, I was not expecting to be as good. I just came out and I was like, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Super haunting, some great visuals, just like creepy people watching this, like, it's kind of like in this depressed US economy, and these people just do nothing but sit on their farms and just watch people walking to their death. And like, what a great allegory for America. It's a great allegory then. Mark Hamill's doing an incredible performance. He's talking
Mark
about
Hamill just balls, sitting on a car, giving them attitude on a megaphone. Like it's awesome. Yeah.
Love it.
No,
Love
it. Everything you said, I agree. Like this movie was great. I think I put it in my Letterboxd review. Like my legs hurt by the end of it. Like it was like it was a slog, but it was like a slog that you were like. Yeah, it was like a walk to get morning browns. It was like along for the ride. Like, oh, I'm enjoying this chat. Like, I'm bonding with these characters as they're bonding with each other. Oh, no, I hope. And then, like you're planning out in your mind, like, oh my God, so who's going to survive? Like, I don't want any of these people to die. I don't want that guy to die who I disliked 10 minutes ago. Now I like him. Or I really want that guy to die, sort of thing. It's like, it's really effective. The deaths are brutal. The shitting is brutal. Like everything is gnarly in this world, sort of thing. And even like the relationships with like his mum and stuff like that. There's scenes with that, like it's really good. Like the choice that these teenagers are making of like, oh, I'm going to go on this walk and I'll either die or at the end of it,
win, but I most likely die. But yeah,
Yeah, like
let's just-
odds are I will die, but
yeah,
what other like it's the best option in this world is like die or become a millionaire and get a wish. And,
Yeah. Get rich or die trying. That's what it should have been called.
yeah, 50 Cent was on it.
Yeah.
What
damn
up?
it.
What up, 50?
But yeah,
Yeah, great film.
no, I really liked it.
Luke.
My final recommendation for the year, it will not be the first time you guys have heard me recommend this film to you, even though you don't care what I think, so you just haven't watched it. F1. This movie, starring our boy Brad Pitt, came out earlier this year. I don't know. I became enraptured with this film. Like, I can't recommend this film enough to people, and I've talked about it to everybody. And my true friends have gone out and watched it after I've recommended it. With like my
You only have two
so-
friends, and it's us.
Yeah, I know. My wife watched it after I told her. But yeah, I love this movie. Joseph Kosinski, I believe is how you pronounce it, who did Top Gun Maverick, which was my favorite movie 2 years ago. It was my movie of the year that year. He just does this type of film, like this action sort of adrenaline epic thing where you just feel along for the ride. And like, I don't want to spoil this movie at all, so I won't talk about it too much. But like, I watched this in our local cinema, which is no IMAX or Gold Class or anything like that. You know, there's a hole in the ceiling. I felt like levitated during certain scenes, like, and I felt like I was having a shared experience with everyone else in the cinema, like where I actively was like, oh, wow, we all experiencing this moment. Like, this is epic. Like, I felt like I am in the driver's seat. Like, this is tense. Like, I'm sitting there, and I felt like it when I watched Top Gun Maverick in that same cinema as well, where I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I'm actually there. Like, this is really captivating. And it's just, I don't know, it's a good old fashioned movie. Conan, this is what you have pined for a long time. You talked about this with like The Last Duel, where movies like this used to exist. And this is one of those movies of like,
I do pine a lot.
yeah, you do
It's one of my
pine a
character
lot.
traits.
And like, this is like one of those great, just popcorn summer blockbuster movies with a big movie star, or was a big movie star, but you know what I mean, in Brad Pitt, who this movie shows why he is that big movie star. And it's not like he's shown as someone who's in his prime. You know, it's somebody who's, yeah, like there's younger characters in this that are looking at him as like, oh, you know, the older guard and all this sort of stuff. But for someone who doesn't care about F1 in the slightest or race car driving, like my dad, my entire life has tried to get me to be into Bathurst every year, and I just have not engaged in it. After I walked out of this, I was like, oh man, should I be watching F1? Like that shit was like exciting. You know what I mean? Javier Bardem, awesome character in this. He's great in this as well. Him and Brad Pitt just vibing off each other is a really good dynamic of old friends and everything like that. The young cast is all really good as well. It's just, I can't recommend this movie enough. Like it is pretty, it's 2.5 hours, but it flies by, and I've been dying to watch it again since I watched it the first time. So yeah, highly recommend it. One of my favorite movies of the year, if not my favorite movie.
Yeah, I don't know why I've missed this. I think it was
It's on
like,
Apple. That's why I've missed it.
Yeah, screw you, Apple. I
It's
think at the
for
beginning,
streaming now, right? Like for free. Like you
on
can
Apple.
just stream it.
On Apple.
yeah.
I'll give you
It
my
was-
login, for Christ's sake. Watch Pluribus and this.
I remember at the beginning of the year, I was like, "This is going to be my IMAX movie of the year." Like, oh, this and Mission Impossible. I was like, because this is kind of one of those movies that demands to be seen in IMAX.
Yes.
And I guess because the reception was not Top Gun Maverick positive, I was like, okay, no, it's not worth it then. Like, it's
81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's a
the problem with Rotten Tomatoes is it doesn't mean shit. See,
okay.
Now,
does
if
it
we
mean
use
on
if
your-
we use a real metric like
Hmm.
Metacritic or IMDb, it's IMDb 7.75. Metacritic's only 68. That is positive, so I'm not trying to be
That's 'cause
difficult.
it's Brad
but
Pitt.
I don't think so. Like most critics aren't anti Brad Pitt. Some people are, and those people are weenie wieners. Like 68, it's not. Top Gun Maverick has, I think,
Something
80
ridiculous, like 88 something.
not that high, but
Yeah.
it's now 78. I think it was like 81 or 82 for a while. That's nearly at the 80 thing. So I was expecting that. If that had got to like 75, 80, I think I would have gone out and saw it. But just me being me, I was like, maybe it's not the best movie of the year. That's disappointing. And then I just sort of forgot to buy tickets and missed it at IMAX.
Hmm.
And then I was
Nobody
like,
must have recommended it to you enough.
No, I just wish I had a friend who had seen it and could have told me about it. But
Repeatedly.
all I have is traitorous podcast hosts who are always trying
Repeatedly.
to cut me out. So I
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
you know.
Keenan would have watched it. Keenan would have watched it. and I
You
told
and him
him-
saw it together, I bet.
Is that right, Keenan? I know you're watching.
Yeah,
I
do wanna see this, though.
I regret not making an effort to see this. I was away on a work trip the week it came out, and I was.
Twice I invited him to the movies. I was like, please, it's on this time as well.
It's very
time.
difficult
Come
for
watch
me
it
to
with
get to the movies. It's not easy. I had an opportunity to see it while I was away on a work trip, and I just didn't get there, unfortunately.
It's all right.
Shame.
I watched Black
Anyway,
Bag
that's-
instead, which nearly should be on the
Ah,
disappointing list, but no, it was all right.
it was good. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. That's our recommendations for the year. We've got some honorable mentions. We'll cover them quickly because we're getting right up there in time for this episode. Honorable mentions: Zootopia 2 was pretty good follow up to Zootopia. My kids thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. The Order. I didn't want to include it in my recommendeds because then I'd have like 3 movies that deal with white supremacy, and that would be maybe too much. But definitely a theme for
the white supremacy trilogy.
definitely a theme for this year.
Corona's what's
Really good police procedural. Yeah,
Jude Law is good.
Jude Law's good. Nicholas Holt's good as a cult leader. Yeah, enjoyed it. And then I wanted to shout out some games: Hades 2, Expedition 33, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Yotei. All games that like lean heavily on their story and pull it off. I think gaming as a storytelling medium is in good hands when you see games like a year like this with these games that have come out. All of them I thoroughly enjoyed. Not just like good stories, but well told, great presentation, and then also fun to play.
Yeah, I was always going to shout out Expedition 33 as well. Because that game was pretty kick-ass. All right, restaurants. KFC really have upped their quality recently.
Red Rooster,
Yeah.
man.
Just disagree.
Red Rooster, those still better. All right, so my 4 would be Caught Stealing. I was going to think about doing this. This is Darren Aronofsky's crime film. Really came and went. Just didn't make an impact. And I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, a Darren Aronofsky film. Obviously, everyone wants to see his movies. People love Darren Aronofsky. But I don't
Darren, the
think anyone-
charismatic Austin Butler. Like, how could you go wrong?
Do people not? I don't get it. Apparently, people don't like Austin Butler. Apparently, no one knows who Darren Aronofsky is. So I'm there like 2 hours early to get my tickets, and they're like, "We're going to cancel this session because no one else has seen this movie, you loser."
I'm telling you, man, Noah killed his cred.
It really did. No, that was Mother. It was Noah into Mother, just like
Yeah,
Mm.
1-2
Dude shot-
punch, man. Knocked him
yeah,
out.
dude shot himself in the foot.
But
But I love
Wrestler too. Bring Mickey Rourke back.
imagine that fighting Sean Penn in the ring.
Yeah,
Wow.
yes. He's a homophobic wrestler, like Hulk Hogan truly was.
Oh, that's what it is. Just a whole Hogan doco.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. I really like this movie though. A lot of like, it didn't even receive like the general critical acclaim I was expecting. A lot of people were pretty critical of it. They thought it was really slight. They thought it didn't do anything. Some people really hated it and thought it was like a desperate attempt to pastiche all these other genres and films.
Matt
I call
Smith was
bullshit
great
on all
in
those.
it. Austin Butler
I
was
think
great in it.
This movie is really good. Like incredible performances of Butler, Matt Smith, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Liev Schreiber as like
Yeah,
as psychopathic Hasidic Jews.
yeah.
Incredible casting. Zoe Kravitz, really good. Like everyone's really good in this film, and it's got a great story. It feels very reminiscent of like that classic like Snatch or Lock, Stock sort of crime caper where there's all these colorful characters and everything's going wrong. But this isn't like a comedy one. This is serious. And I was not expecting it to be that. That tonal whiplash, I think, turned a lot of people off where they were expecting Lock, Stock. And instead, people are dying, and it's actually a really serious exploration of this character. I'm like, that's what Darren Aronofsky does. He explores tormented characters. It's like no one knows what he does.
They don't.
It shits me off that no one appreciates this movie because it's really freaking good.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Griner, go see Caught Stealing. Juror number 2. Clint Eastwood directed, starring Nicholas Hoult. Loved this film. Was not expecting it to be so good. Two take Clint, still got it. Just an incredibly good like mystery sort of, or like philosophical mystery of like, what do you do in this scenario? You know, what should a person do? And that's yeah, like really, really good, really captivating, great performances, loved it. K-pop Demon Hunters, a movie that still haunts my family because my wife didn't want me to show my daughter, but I showed my daughter and she loved it, and she still draws the characters, and she's like, "This is Rumi with her purple plait," and I'm like, "Sweetheart, you saw it one time. Why do you love this movie?" But it's really good. It's a really good film, and the songs are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, bangers.
And other standout film, it's from 2020. It's called The Empty Man. This was a movie that came, no one saw, but it is like David Fincher making cosmic horror. Unbelievably good. One of the best films I've seen this year. I don't know, if you're into horror, if you're into detective stuff, and if you like horror detective films, which I think is the greatest genre ever made, The Empty Man is incredibly good. Really worth your time. You should all check it out. Even directed by a guy named David Pryor, David Fincher, David Pryor. They kind of sound similar.
It's basically the same person. Basically,
it's kind of there. He studied under the feet of him. Like there's clearly a lot of inspiration. Worth seeing. That's me, Luke. Go.
I have a fair few recommendations. I'll go through them quickly. So on the opposite end of Captain America, Thunderbolts. Brought my love back for MCU. A film that I think is very different than a normal MCU film. I feel like it deals with some good themes and great character moments. I think the Void is a really good character and villain in this movie, and Florence Pugh is really good in this. Highly recommended. Eddington was a trip, man. That's a trip of a movie. I don't want to go into anything discussing it, but highly recommend. Very, very kind of dated, but not dated. Like very topical of COVID, with these two sheriffs in a town and dealing with like restrictions and stuff like that. But Pedro Pascal, Joaquin Phoenix, it's a wild ride. It's like I feel like you guys will really enjoy it. Like you should watch it. Really enjoyed that. Then Deep Cover, comedy movie that came out earlier this year with Orlando Bloom. I'm forgetting the lead actor, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Nick Mohammed from Ted Lasso. In it, really, really funny movie. Like really funny movie. Basically, three improv actors that get recruited by Sean Bean to be undercover in a drug ring, and so these improv actors are just going into these like dangerous nightclubs, acting hard, like all tough and everything like that. And Orlando Bloom is really, really funny in this. I think he should do more comedy. So highly recommend that. Roofman, really good. I really enjoyed that. Channing Tatum was great. Predator Badlands. I know Conan, you weren't a big fan on it, but it was the right kind of Predator film for me, where it was very, I don't know, it obviously goes away from horror quite a bit, into more like your standard, like buddy adventure movie sort of thing.
It's a buddy cop film.
The music's great and the action's really good. I really enjoyed that movie. And then just a couple TV show recommendations. Task on HBO with Mark Ruffalo, fantastic series. Peacemaker, incredible show. John Cena is awesome in it. I highly recommend Peacemaker to anybody. And even though it came out last year, I finally watched The Penguin this year, and it was also incredible. Kristen Milotti, and why am I forgetting his name? Oh my God, Colin Farrell. Incredible. Like Penguin is truly one of the best shows I've ever seen. So yeah, highly recommend those movies, but I know you guys won't watch them. So.
Here's my question with Predator Badlands. Why is it not just him having to kill other predators? Why is he killing all these random monster beasts like it's a Monster Hunter game?
And Griner has to watch it because he's the one to ask. He's the Predator guy. I don't know.
He's boiling with rage that he's muted himself. Like that's how angry he is at that movie.
He's still muted. He just said he loves the Predator Badlands
Yeah,
more than any other movie he's ever seen.
Oh.
And Alien is a better movie than Aliens, I think. he said.
yeah. James Cameron is a hack, right? Okay.
Yeah. Strong thoughts coming from Griner.
Yeah, for some
Um,
reason, all my
we
keybinds
go.
have decided to stop working. I was
Yeah,
too busy
yeah.
Googling all of the movies that you recommended, Luke, so that I had them on a list
Oh,
to
sorry.
watch. But anyway,
Okay. You haven't seen Predator Badlands, have you?
no, I haven't. No.
Yeah. Are you keen to?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Well, don't get too excited to see lots
Conan-
of predators killing predators because that's
Conan-
not even the plot.
Conan, you got to admit the soundtrack is banging.
Oh, the whole what was it Mongolian metal? The
Oh,
throat-
dude, it's so cool, man.
I love it. That was really good.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah.
But seriously, it's like you're in a predator planet, as if it would just be predators killing predators.
And one thing we didn't really talk about at the start, but obviously people might be like, oh, typical Conan, like where's Sinners?
they
You
did.
know, like he rated it 4 stars. We weren't going to discuss any
Right,
movies we've
4.5.
reviewed for our podcast, so that's why Sinners and all that stuff is missing from that because we
Yes.
already reviewed it quite highly. Conan's favorite movie of the year. Yeah, even though you gave it 4.5.
Yes, we keep this to movies we didn't already review as part of a trilogy or just because we decided to review them on this podcast. We haven't discussed what we're doing next. I'm not sure. We
I
might
thought we decided on
go on, spoil it. Say it out loud because it'll remind me.
no. What?
I like
the
Grinder's
third
White
one.
Supremacy trilogy.
Oh yeah. There's something coming to the cinema in like 2 weeks.
There's,
Even though I'm down to do that anxiety trilogy.
there's 28 days.
Oh yeah, we're
Oh,
the next.
The
Bone
Boner
Temple.
Bone
yeah,
Temple, but I
yes.
don't know when it comes out.
That's not till February, is it?
No, it's like January 14th.
Apparently January 15th.
Don't Google the Boner Temple. Boy, you get all sorts of bad things.
All right, we'll check that out. I am a bit concerned that it's not on our local cinema website.
It is not there anymore. It was. It's not there anymore.
So we might have to see what happens there. We'll come up with some trilogy or some movie to watch. Keep your eyes peeled for our socials. We won't post it there. You'll just have to listen for the next podcast. But thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure to do this again for another year. That's our 2025 in review. Bring on 2026, I guess. We'll see what wonders await us. We've got to knock over one of the big ones that we haven't done. The Fast movies or the Harry Potter movies, or
They're coming.
we've got to
Coming
get
that
one of
random
them.
YouTube commenter.
We have
They're
to get
coming.
one of them done this year. So
If
keep
we're
your
doing
eyes
those,
peeled and
we're doing Friday the 13th.
or Friday
1 through
13th.
12.
Yep.
Strap in and strap on. We're doing the Fast movies.
There's a few we have to get to. All right. This podcast is brought to you by a couple of books by Conan, The Taste of Iron, and God Grotesque. Check them out. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.